series against Tampa Bay, so that's all good. If they end in a tiebreak situation, they own that. They really have a firm grasp on the division. Now, as for the game, woo! I mean, that was crazy. It was as good a first half as I've seen this team play, maybe ever. They came out and really dominated, and it was as if the Saints had been listening to some of the talk that had been going around for Tampa Bay in terms of how dominant Tampa Bay had been for the last 6-7 weeks. And I don't know if the Saints took offense to that, but obviously they wanted to show how good a team they are. They do happen to be the 3-time reigning division champs in the NFC South, and they showed that on this field tonight. They harassed Tom Brady, got after him, intercepted him 3 more times, I think. And it's just a testament of what this team can do when everything is cooking. We didn't see the deficiencies in the secondary in terms of the communication errors. We did see a team rush the passer. We saw a team run the football extremely well against the NFL's best run defense. And then we saw Drew Brees be Drew Brees. He was as sharp as he possibly could be in terms of running this offense. And the return of Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders at receiver, I think both of those made huge differences in this game. It wasn't a perfect storm, but it was mighty close.
And we'll be getting Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and several other players up at the podium live as soon as they are available. I'm sure they're dancing in the locker room. We'll get those videos later on. Again, the New Orleans Saints defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 38-3. And JD, you talked about, the Saints running the NFC right now. They have 2 games left against the Falcons, 1 game against the Panthers left in the season. You talked about having Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders back for the Saints team. How much did that open up things for this entire team? I mean, you saw targets from 9 receivers just in that first quarter. It really seemed to open up things for the Saints offense.
Well, I think Alvin Kamara said it best last week. He said that when Michael Thomas lines up on the field, you have to know where he is as a defense. And if you got to pay attention to Michael Thomas, which everyone does, then that loosens up for Emmanuel Sanders. It loosens up for Alvin Kamara. It loosens up for Jared Cook. It loosens up, and we saw how big time it loosened up for Traquan Smith on a touchdown catch. So it really makes things a little bit easier for this team offensively. I didn't think it was going to be this easy, but obviously it's a huge difference. And then I can't say enough about the Saints secondary. They were locked in. Probably the best game they played this season by far in terms of a totality of defense. It was a joy to watch if you're a Saints fan, because it was everything you probably could have hoped for.
And not just that secondary, JD, the pressure in the pocket that we've been talking about all week long. You had a huge performance from Trey Hendrickson, probably should have had 3 sacks. Cam Jordan instantly from kickoff was pressuring Tom. This front line really stepped up for this Saints team.
And I thought that was key also, because they didn't have to use a lot of pressure packages in order to do so. That front 4 was dominating in its own way. And if you don't have to bring extra pressure, that means you can have your guys in the secondary get back there, maybe play some zone, mix in some zone with some man-to-man, but you can play cover as opposed to having to send extra people. That made a huge difference, because they got after Tom Brady early in this game. They knocked him around. I don't want to say that they rattled him, because he's a 20-year NFL vet who's won 6 Super Bowls. But if you hit anybody enough, he gets a bit unsettled.
I believe we are going to have Sean Payton at the podium here in a second. First division sweep of Tom Brady in 19 years, which is a crazy stat, and I got a head fake here from the Saints PR staff. But JD, you mentioned this defense up front, the front few for the Saints. How about Demario Davis? I mean, how big has he been, especially, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in the red zone, it looked like they were going to score. They were on, the 2-yard line, and Demario Davis came up huge, not only with his big tackle pushing the Bucs back, but with his leadership. It seemed like he was in control the entire time.
Well, the Saints' Achilles heel defensively, one of their Achilles heels, had been red zone defense. Teams had been scoring almost at will touchdowns in the red zone. So to get that stop, 4 cracks at it from the one by Tampa Bay, to get that stop, obviously the Saints were already ahead at that moment, but it had to be a huge psychological boost because this team needs to know that it can get stops in the red zone. Maybe you don't keep a team out of the end zone, but force them into field goals. But they didn't even give up that on that possession. So fantastic. Demario Davis, we know he's been probably the second best free agent pickup in Saints history behind Drew Brees, and he certainly proves it each and every Sunday.
You're looking at the podium there at Raymond James Stadium, where we are waiting to see Sean Payton. JD, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished the game with 8 rushing yards. When I checked this 10 minutes ago before the show, it was 9 yards. So I guess they were robbed a yard in that time, but they had 8 yards. And then a fun note I saw on Twitter at the beginning of the game, it was the first time a Tom Brady-led team in the NFL has started a game with 4 straight 3-and-outs. What was the difference for this defense? I mean, we're talking about all these guys coming back on offense and spreading the wealth on offense. What was the difference for the defense in this week?
It was the secondary. They covered, and they covered as well, I think, as you can possibly cover. Marshawn Lattimore, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, CJ Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Malcolm Jenkins, whoever it was, all those guys covered about as well as you possibly could cover, and they got it done in that secondary. That was the main thing in this game.
Absolutely, JD. I have no discretion there. And then let's go back over to the offense. Obviously, Drew Brees played. This offense just looked like the offense that we have grown to accustomed to seeing over the last few seasons. And I believe, nope, head fake again. The Saints offense looked like the Saints offense we're used to seeing, JD.
Well, they just basically pulled out the Ginzu knife and sliced them up. We saw it some in Chicago. We saw the efficiency. And again in this game, that first drive set the tone where the Saints offensively said, okay, we don't need to get deep. We've got all our weapons. We'll just chop them up little by little, get to the end zone. The defense starts it out with a really good 3-and-out, and then the offense comes out and backs it up with a touchdown, and then it's off to the races. The offense, other than a couple of fumbles lost, was about as efficient as it's been at any point in this season. Thomas Morstead had one game this season where he didn't punt. He only punted once in this one, but they were fantastic in terms of getting everything they needed. They stayed out of long down and distance situations for the most part, kept themselves in really manageable situations, and took advantage of it. Tampa Bay, which has a really good defense, but the Saints had their way with that defense. Yeah, Michael Thomas was back. Yes, Emmanuel Sanders was back, but Taysom Hill played a huge part in the passing and the running game, the kind of game that we've been waiting for Taysom Hill to have this season, to be frank with you, and that took a lot of the burden off Alvin Kamara, even though Alvin Kamara got a rushing touchdown, but all the pieces fit perfectly in this game.
Please don't be frank with me. I just need you to be JD with me. Haha, dad joke, there it is. JD, as we continue to wait for head coach Sean Payton at Raymond James Stadium, we talked about Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and all these offensive weapons for the Saints team. How about Deontay Harris and Taysom Hill and what they've been able to do continuously and time again? And, in week 1 after the game, JD, we were right here on this post-game show and heard Sean Payton say, I wasn't confident in my play calling ability, or not abilities, but my play calling. I think I would have liked to do some things differently, and we've kind of seen that continue as it sounds like you're hearing some players come into the press conference room here. But what can you say about Sean Payton and his play calling ability tonight? Because he seemed to really find his rhythm. I mean, that was evident in the offense.
Well, think about it, though. They're now 8 games into the season. They've won 5 straight. But more than that, he had everybody in. So now you get an opportunity to really open up the playbook and do everything. Drew Brees and Sean Payton have the ultimate confidence in Michael Thomas because they know what Michael Thomas can do. They know where he's going to be. They have a good idea now of what they can do with Emmanuel Sanders. They know what they can do with Jared Cook. They know the threat or the actual weapon that Alvin Kamara is. So if you can get all those guys on the field together and your protection holds up, and I thought, again, the protection held up really well in this game. Outside of the sack strip, they held up extremely well in this game. You get all your guys on the field, and if you're the Saints, you will take your chances against any defense in the league because you feel like you can put your guys in enough situations to where one of those 4 or 5 guys is going to pop free. And again, if you want to pay attention to all those guys, that's how you end up with Traquan Smith running wide open to catch a touchdown.
You know, these last few games, it seems like the Saints have had to put, Band-Aid patches over their offense and with injuries and things like that, and it's just been Alvin. Now you get these players back, you're spreading the offensive wealth a little bit. Do you think we'll continue to see that as the Saints team progresses, hopefully staying healthy?
Caroline, that on that field was vintage Drew Brees, spreading it around. Whoever is open, that's who he's going to find. And so now you can't necessarily just concentrate on a guy. Now, is it good to have a Michael Thomas when you get into a crunch and it's 3rd and 7 and you can get him on that slant? Of course it is. It's nice to have a guy that you know you can throw it to 10 times and he's going to catch it 9 or maybe all 10 of those times. But to have everybody there and to spread the wealth the way Drew Brees does, that makes this team even more dangerous.
JD, you look great right now, but you're next to a shirtless Alvin Kamara, and we're going to go to him since he seems a little bit more important right now.
I mean, you see it what it looks like. It's poetry in motion when you get going like that. So it just makes everybody's job a little bit easier. And big win.
Next question's from Catherine Terrell.
Definitely one of the biggest wins in years, but it's based on all the Instagram lives. Is that one of the best post-game locker room celebrations y'all have ever had?
I don't know. I mean, every time we win, we go up. So, but it was just, I mean, as far as the win, it was definitely a big win.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Alvin, was there? I know y'all treat every game importantly, but what on the team of how important the game was, just considering where you and Tampa are in the standings right now, and with only 8 games to go?
It's important. It's a division opponent. Swept them. Did it with grace. I mean, it was great.
You guys hear me all right?
Yep, looking good, Coach. Go ahead, you guys.
From a play what's it sort of like when it's going like that?
Pardon?
What's it sort of like when the offense and defense just puts it all together like that? What's it like just even watching that?
Well, look, I mean, it's every series you're working on. That series specifically, I thought we did a lot of things well. From a field position standpoint, we felt that was going to be real important. And really, it wasn't until the second half that we gave them a short field. And defensively, fortunately, we had to stand there. But it was good team one.
From a play calling standpoint, you had criticized yourself earlier in the year, but was this about as good of a play calling rhythm as you can have in that first half?
Listen, I think the players did a really good job. They're a tough defense, really hard to run it against, and we did enough things well in the passing game early on.
Were you surprised how much zone you played? I know that was a game plan. Do you think that
some good runs? Thought we blocked well up front. So there were a lot of things that we did well. And again, it's a good football team. We felt like one of the better teams we've seen up to date.
Well, how important is it to get those early stops to kind of set the tone?
I can't hear you guys. Someone put another in. Go ahead.
Sean, getting those early stops and kind of making them one-dimensional on offense, taking away the run, how much did that change the game for you guys?
Well, look, I think, we found ourselves in a little bit better third down situation relative to down distance. We were able to find some ways to run the football. Again, this is a funny league. Things can can go well, and we know week to week, we'll look at this tape. We'll make some corrections. Obviously, it was one of our better games as a team, and yet, we'll enjoy it and then get ready to work, beginning tomorrow.
Hey, Sean, can you talk about Michael Thomas coming back, what you saw from him, and also as an extension of that, how much your offense has grown? Like on that first drive, you had 7, 8 guys make yards, including Taysom's pass.
Yeah.
What is it? How's it flowing like that?
It was good to have him back. One of the things that I would always say, and one of the challenges, especially for a player like Mike, he's had such great health and stamina, and he's a guy that has played 50, 60 snaps a game, and this is really the first time coming back off an injury ever for him in the NFL. And we wanted to be smart relative to the pitch count, but he handled it well. I was really proud of him. It's good to have him back out there. It was good to have Emmanuel back out there. It was good to have Marquez back out there. All these receivers were back in the lineup, and but it was really good to see him get in the flow of a game, because I think sometimes the mistake could be how much we use them in that first week back. And again, we'll look closely at the tape, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sean, your DBs have taken their share of criticism so far this season. How did you think they played overall? And was this the kind of game that maybe they needed a little bit?
Well, I think it was the kind of game, it was one of those games that I think as a team we can build on. And I would say, much like Tampa Bay, build on their Green Bay win. That was a significant win for them as a team. The film was impressive. I thought in the secondary we did a great job. I thought the rush and the coverage complemented each other well, and overall against a really good offense and defense. I mean, we understood the type of team we were playing.
Sean, can you kind of go into what you saw in that goal line stand? I mean, that's been an area you guys have struggled all year, and yet you stopped them 4 straight times from the one there.
Yeah, listen, we were fortunate. Dennis and those guys did a great job. We stopped the run. We broke up a couple passes, and then at the end there was a play action. That was an impressive series, and we put ourselves in that position. It was the one thing coming out of halftime that we talked about not doing, and it was a third down play where we ended up with the fumble, and defense was outstanding there.
Sean, it looked like on some of the offensive drives that you rotated Ruiz and Easton in. Was there something from a matchup perspective that you liked better about subbing those two out?
No, I mean, we didn't do it in drives. We were planning on playing both of them in the game, and we did that. But it was good to have Nick back.
Sean, does Taysom kind of find some juice here? It seems like the last couple of weeks he played probably his best ball of the year.
Listen, I thought he played real well tonight. It was a big part of our plan. I thought he threw the ball well in some of those situations. The play, to Cook early was a big play, and obviously there's a physicality to when he's running the football that is important to our team.
Do you ever remember having a game where every skill position player that you had active got a touch on offense, or is this a unique game in that respect?
I haven't kept track of that, I can't recall. We have too many guys that are up and down. We just have a handful of personnel groups, and we're trying to, put those guys in really good positions. Again, this is a real good run defense. I think they're much improved in the secondary, and we've been impressed with watching the way they play coverage, the way they play their zone and their man-to-man. They're a big pressure team, and we got a handful of it tonight, and then we got some prevent looks, but it's a really good defense, and we knew that coming in. So I was proud of how we were able to handle that.
Sean, that first touchdown, when they kind of overplayed Alvin and Traquan ran free, is that something you expected to happen or saw maybe happening, or what was sort of the origin of that play?
It was a it was a pump screen to Alvin. He wasn't getting the play. He was the decoy. And then, you know, you look to set up what looks like a wide receiver screen, and then, you know, a couple seams into the cavity, and it ended up working really well. Traquan, you know, came wide open, and Drew was able to make an adjustment in the pocket and get the ball to him.
Sean, you were kind of talking about building on this game. What's kind of the important next step to make sure this is not just like a 1 week thing and to kind of keep going from here?
We're going to look at the tape, and a season is made up of a series of games, adversity, tough games, and this was a positive one that, you know, I think is one of our better team games. All right, thank you guys.
All right, we have Taysom Hill. If you have a question, put it in the chat, and I'll go ahead and call on you. First question's from Doug Mouton.
Hey, Taysom, the first one when you were in that first series, when you came in on the 3rd and 3 and hit Jared Cook, what was – and they had sort of overplayed the run. Was that sort of a plan that when you came in, they're overplaying the run and you think you can get man-to-man and get a guy?
Well, I think there's always this battle, like how are teams going to play me? And I think as we looked at the film last week, you know, we obviously ran the ball a lot in short yardage situations. And so we kind of felt like if we got in a short yardage situation that they were going to overplay the QB run, and brought the safety out of the middle of the field. And man, it's a great matchup when you have Jared Cook running over the middle with no deep safety. And you know, I felt like if I threw a better ball, it probably scores. But you know, big play in the game and help us get that opening drive touchdown.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Hey, so I feel like we kind of asked you a similar question last week, but when you're kind of getting more involved in this game plan and getting a little bit more touches, do you feel like that kind of helps you find a little bit more of a rhythm as a player?
It certainly helps. You know, again, I think throughout my career, it's been this battle of, you know, you're out for 5-6 plays or a drive, and then you're in, and you get a run or you get a carry or you're asked to throw something deep, and you know, it's hard to really find a rhythm. But I think as time has gone on, I've learned to adjust. I find ways to stay warm on the sideline to make sure that if I go in on a 3rd and short yardage situation, I have to throw a deeper ball, that I'm ready to do that. But it certainly helps when I get more carries in a row.
Next question's from Catherine Terrell.
Hey, Taysom, there was a play where Drew was lined up out wide, and you ended up finding a running lane, and you kind of looked at him, and I was wondering if it was designed to fake it to him, or like fake the pitch, or if you saw him and you're like, oh wait, I can't throw it to Drew if there's no blockers around.
Look, the coaches have made it very clear that I'm not to throw the ball to Drew. Although Drew is always ready and prepared to receive the ball from me. But look, it was one of those things where they played a different coverage than what we were expecting, and they covered it well. And so as I broke contain, I saw Drew out there. The safety was coming off, and so I gave a little pump fake. And I think in those situations, instincts just kind of take over and cleared up a little running lane for me.
Next question's from Mike Triplett.
Taysom, other than opportunities, what is working so well for you in the last 4 games that maybe wasn't working so well in the first 4 games, execution-wise?
Well, I think as you said, I think there have been a few more opportunities for me as the weeks have gone on. Certainly this week. So I feel that. And then I think as we start to do more things, you know, I think it was important for me to go out and throw a ball over the middle to Jared, and then it really opened up a lot of other things for us in the rest of the game. So I would just say opportunities, and I think as you look at defending Drew and all the weapons that we have with Alvin and Mike and Emmanuel and Jared, and then you add this nuance to it, and if we continue to do this, it's tough to stop.
Thank you, Taysom.
All right, well said. Thank you, Taysom.
Marcus Williams, followed by David Onyemata.
Hey guys, doing?
All right, we have Marcus Williams. First questions from Nick Underhill.
I know you guys have taken a little bit to get it going, but was this the performance that you saw for the secondary during training camp when you guys were pretty confident with everything you were able to do?
Right. We always had it in us. We just got to keep pushing, keep fighting, and just continue to stay focused to the little things and take care of the big things. Stay disciplined and do our assignment. And when we do that, you see the outcome of the game.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
And Marcus, who had better form on the pick? Was it you or Onyemata?
Definitely Onyemata. He goes to get it. Hey, first interception, that's real nice. Taking it off Tom Brady. He definitely had better form for sure. Definitely.
Next question's from Rod Walker.
And Marcus, why have you all been so successful against Brady, you feel like, this season?
I guess it's a good game plan, and you just got guys who come out here every day and compete. Guys who are ready to, lock in and just show everybody, what we're made of. We do this stuff in practice, and we just had to make sure it translates into the game.
Next one's from Nick Underhill.
When you guys were kind of going through a little bit of a rough patch with some broken coverages and that early in the year, it seemed like nobody ever really got down, and you kept fighting until the end of every game. Like, what was it that allowed you guys to maintain that confidence and that belief and not get discouraged by some of the stuff that was going on?
We have a lot of accountability out here on this team. Everybody takes accountability for their actions, and we see where we messed up. We see where those big plays were made, and we fixed it. We go and practice, we watch it on film, and we make sure we go and fix it so that doesn't happen again. So we just continue to work. It's never going to be perfect, but as long as we're working to get to perfection, that's all that matters.
Last question's from Luke Johnson.
Yeah, Marcus, how big was that the goal line stand? Just knowing y'all had a big lead, but not letting them get back into the game there.
It's big, especially we always preach defend every blade of grass. So our guys, they stepped up. They stepped up big on that goal line. Marshawn, Double D, everybody in there. They were making plays, and we were hungry for it. And that's just what the outcome was: 4 downs, 4 plays, and we're in there. No matter where it's at, we stop them in every blade of grass.
Thanks, everybody. We're gonna have David Onyemata next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Okay, we have David Onyemata. First questions from Doug Mouton.
Yeah, hey, David, talk about the interception play. It looked like it just kind of wound up right in your gut, right?
Pretty much just draw right in there. But the thing leading up, like in the week, the main thing, if you couldn't get to Tom Brady, just get your hands up front. And Marcus and Cam actually did a good job with that. And they both actually batted the ball, and that just dropped right on my lap.
Next question's from Nick Underhill.
It looked like that play started with a Davenport bull rush. Just as a defensive lineman, seeing him, kind of come into his own, especially with that move. Just how dominant has he been, just this season since coming back?
Mark, he's been dominant, not even like leading up, not even this year, even the years leading up to this. Like, it's just, understanding the game plan and just having him, be comfortable and go out there and do his thing.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Hey, David, what was the reaction after the game from the D-line room? I mean, you guys had like 3 sacks. You had your pick. You guys have a pretty good game.
That was expected. We go into games with high expectations. So a game like that was, I'll say we needed that. It was about time we got one.
Next one's from Nick Underhill.
How did getting the early lead change the approach for you guys once you kind of knew that they weren't going to be able to run the ball and they were going to have to throw to catch up?
What, they had 9 rushing yards or something in this game? the thing, we go into games with the same mindset. We went in there. I mean, we came in with the same mindset: stop the run and rush the passer. Like regardless, that was our mindset.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, David, going back to your college days, did you ever have an interception in Manitoba?
No.
Have you ever had any in practice or anything?
No.
So what was it like getting your first one?
It just happened. I was thinking about it. Just happened, and go do the celebration of the end zone.
Last question's from Doug Mouton.
Yeah, David, when you guys get a lead like that and you can just tee off and rush the passer and you're getting quarterback hits like that, how much fun does it get to be on the defensive line?
It's definitely fun, but the one thing you can't let that get in your head and actually let go, because things can happen in the game. It can swing the other way or the other way. So, regardless of you being up like that, you can't let go. You just have to keep getting at the offense.
All right, folks, that's it for David.
Thank you, David.
We're going to have Cam Jordan here next. You can go ahead and put questions in the chat.
All the way.
All right, we have Cam Jordan. First question's from Luke Johnson.
Cam, what's the celebration like for the D-line group after one of your own gets a pick, especially when David Onyemata gets to say he got an interception off of Brady now?
Man, I mean, the fact that Marcus got his hand on the ball and it tipped my way, and I got two fingers on it. I was like, oh, I need more than that. And then David Onyemata comes in with the pick. He's supposed to head to the numbers, but he headed towards us. But I immediately just super excited for my guy. I mean, the way that he ran to the ball, and then I was like, we headed to the cam, baby. I was like, we're not even headed to the regular end zone. We got to go to the cam. And I thought the water was a little bit more slippery than it was going to be. In my mind, I wanted to hit the little penguin slide, but I was like, that doesn't, the ground was too dry. So I had to hit a little major roll. My roll looked sweet, though. It was planned and perfect. So I wanted to, but it just wasn't wet enough to slide. But that's a huge play for us. And I mean, honestly, we started off the game with pressure on Brady. I think got a hand on his elbow. I was trying to go for the ball, and it really just took off from there. You talk about, David Onyemata played his got to keep PG, played his butt off, as well as Trey Henderson. In my mind, should have had 2 or 3 sacks. I mean, he had a sack which was taken away by penalty. Erroneous flag came from nowhere, whatever that is. The next play. I thought I sacked him, but Trey sacked him. I was like, Malcolm had a sack, I had a sack, Trey had a sack, and then they were like, Trey had 2 sacks, Malcolm had a sack, and I was like, oh, but I could have swore I bombed him. Okay. and at the end of the day, it's about this win. I mean, our job was to get Tom Brady off the spot, and I mean, we all know he gets that ball off hot. Even as we were hitting him, as we were getting hands on him early and often, he's still the second greatest quarterback for a reason. I mean, he's getting that ball off hot.
Next one's from Doug Mouton.
Cam, I looked back at Tom Brady's quarterback ratings, and I think this was his worst quarterback rating in a game in 17 years. How good would you say it was overall on defense today? I'm guessing it can't get much better than that, right?
I mean, we had a lot of things going our way. I mean, from jump, we were getting pressure again early and often. If you want to go through that last sequence I just gave you. But honestly, kudos to the D-line. Shout out to the DBs. Everybody had their hands involved. I mean, we knew if we get them off the spot, we got them out of run the ball early. I don't know what they ended up running the ball for, but 9 times. All right.
9 yards.
I was like 9 attempts. Yeah, I was like, we didn't see much run, but 9 yards is even better. That's a hell of a stat right there. Shut down the run, you get to have some fun, and we had a whole lot of fun tonight.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Last one, folks.
Ooh.
Hey Cam, since I know you are somebody who's had fun with this before, what was it like getting a up close and personal look at Jameis eating a W at the end of the game on camera?
Hey, next question. I'm not answering. Oh man. What's important is we got a dub. And Jameis took some snaps, and he finished the win. We wanted to pitch a shutout. We played our butts off, and even for a team like that to score 3 points, we know we'll see them again. So honestly, we have to prepare for this next game as soon as we can. And if we do end up playing the Bucs again, it'll be for something more important than what it is right now.
Thank you, Cam.
No doubt. Biden. Woo!
All right, we have Michael Thomas. If you have a question, put it in the chat and I'll call on you. First question's from Amy Just.
Welcome back. How'd it feel to get back out there after being away for so long?
It felt great just to be out there with the guys and dominate the game on all sides of the ball. I feel like from offense, defense, special teams, we all contributed well to this big victory, and it was a great time. I'm lost for words.
Next question's from Mike Triplett.
Michael, how have you sort of handled and channeled everything after that 1 game suspension? Did you think that was a fair punishment, and how have you reacted to it since?
Yeah, my emotions got the best of me in that situation, and I've grown from that, and I'm here to help my team win games and get to finish the mission and win a championship. So I'm just here to contribute and add value to the offense and add value to this team and help my guys win.
And just to follow up, there was some speculation, not even necessarily reports, that you might have been interested in seeking a trade. Do you want to say anything to clear any of that up?
No, I can't pay attention to any of that, man. I just was rehabbing with my head down, trying to get back to be out here to help my team.
Next question's from Doug Mouton.
Like when you have them sort of on their heels like that, the play calling rhythm, can you feel it out there in the first 3 or 4 series when sort of everything's going right? What does that feel like on the field when you've got them, sort of guessing every play?
That's what we expect as an offense. That's the standard. That's what we've been trying to play the past 6 weeks. And unfortunately, I wasn't out there to help the guys, but I'm back out there and I'm trying to do my job to the best of my abilities. And we're all complimenting each other, and we're all trying to just move the chains and be aggressive. We have a great head coach and Sean Payton across tremendous plays. Every play called tonight was working. So as long as we protect the ball, we're going to be a dominant offense for sure.
Next one's from Amy Just.
You and Alvin led the way with 5 catches each, but 12 different guys caught 1 pass today. Like, how good is that for all y'all when all of you are getting the chance to contribute?
Credit to the front office for surrounding us around great talent, bringing those guys in the building, plugging them in our offense, and just having a role for them. Sean Payton's great with drawing up plays and getting guys the ball and knowing what they're really good at and what they're capable of. So we're just gelling it all together and coming out trying to execute every drive.
Last question's from Luke Johnson.
Hey, Mike, how good was it to see Taysom kind of get going and basically, all those different ways tonight, throwing the ball, running the ball, catching the ball?
That's what he does, man. That's what he does. That's the reason why we extended him. That's the reason why we put the ball in his hand, because he's a dominant player. He just it seems like every time I get on the field with him, he just finds a way to do something like again and again and again. I love playing with him, and he's exciting to watch.
We're all set. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. We have Demario Davis here. Go ahead and put questions in the chat.
All right, we have Demario Davis. First questions from Doug Mouton.
Demario, just how good does it feel when it's going that well, when the rush is good and the coverage is good? Was this the game you guys on defense have sort of been waiting for all year?
Well, first of all, I mean, I want to personally say, man, you know, I just got to say glory to God, man. It's been an incredible journey. You know, I feel like, you know, for me, but to be a part of a team like this, to be able to play in games like this, I mean, you're talking about two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game going head to head. And I just don't want to stop and move past like this moment because this is history. Like, and the fact that all of us get to be a part of this is just an amazing experience, and to be able to come out victorious both times, you know, I just got to give credit to the man above, because it's a blessing in itself. No matter who would have won, it's a blessing to be a part of this. Second, I just got to say who that. You know, that's a big win for Who Dat Nation. I mean, that's a really good ball club. You know, a really great defense that's playing at a high level, really great offense that's ascending at this time of year. And to be able to come out on top, you know, we play good ball in all phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And that's the type of team win you want to be able to put together this time of year. So it was a blessing.
Next question's from Nick Underhill.
You guys have been talking about trying to find that performance where all the details came together and everybody has their eyes in the right place and just doing all the little things right. It looked like you got that tonight. What can getting that performance do for you guys going forward, just knowing that it can all come together like this?
I think it just confirms and affirms, you know, who we are and what our identity is as a defense. We know what our standard is. We've been working to put that on tape. Tonight we were able to move towards that, putting it on tape in a major way. You know, and we'll enjoy this one. We'll turn the page and continue to build down the stretch, because we have to continue to play our best football to get where we want to go.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, Demario, you've been in the league for a while. Have you ever been a part of such a flawless performance like that on both sides of the ball where everything was clicking like that?
It's rare. It's rare, especially when you're going against a good ball club like we just went against. First, it's just hard to play your best football in all phases of the game. But you're always working toward that, knowing that you can. I think we've been able to do it, you know, a couple of times since I've been here, putting together complete games. But to be able to do it against a ball club like that, I think it says a lot about where we are, where we want to go. And we have to continue to ascend it. I mean, we can't credit that team enough. They're playing great football. Divisional opponent, great defense. I mean, me as a linebacker, I noticed they playing lights out this year. Great offense, a lot of receivers that are explosive and dynamic. Quarterback that's playing, you know, it's continued to play at the level he's always played at. Two great running backs. I mean, it was a tough challenge for us, and to be able to play that type of game against a team like that, it means a lot. I don't want to take it lightly.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Hey, Demario, you had a couple big plays in that goal line stop. How big was that, just, you know, at that stage of the game, not really letting them get back into it, especially considering how much y'all kind of struggled in that area this year?
Man, my goal at the end of the day is just never let my teammates down. I'm counting on them, and I know they're counting on me. So it's about making your plays when they come to you. You know, and I had a couple come my way, and I needed to make a play for the team, and I was just able to do my job. And so I'm just always grateful when I don't let my teammates down. But I mean, I just chopped them out, man. The D-line, I mean, how many hits on the quarterback was that? That was just phenomenal. I see somebody holding up 9 or 10. I mean, every time we looked up, it was another sack. And then, of course, 3 interceptions on, you know, one of the top quarterbacks that ever played a game. I mean, you know, it's going to be a lot of game balls given out next week. And, man, I'm just happy to play beside those guys. I'm proud of the efforts.
Next question's from Amy Just.
Yeah, it was up there. I don't know if it was quite 10 quarterback hits, but it was a lot. Speaking of that, getting after it at the line of scrimmage, 8 rushing yards for Tampa today. Y'all talk about the emphasis that you put on limiting the run. How important was that today, too?
I think there's been a lot of talk about like our rush defense, and you know, there's a kudos to the guys up front and the guys in the back end. We got guys in the back end who don't mind coming in the box and hitting and just execute at a high level on top of being coached well. But so much of that is our offense, the special teams, putting us in situations where team can't run the ball. Like, I mean, we were up early, so they had to go into their passing game and didn't get to try to establish the run because the game was getting out of hand. And that put us in a situation where we didn't have to worry about the run. We can kind of pin our ears back. You see the guys getting out to the quarterback, and you see us able to, you know, affect the passing game. And so I think a lot of hype goes around our run game, and definitely don't want to take away from that. It's amazing and historic what we've been able to do. But so much of it is just the collective camaraderie of playing sound football as a team. You know, our special team, you know, puts them in situations where they backed up and they got to try to travel a long, hard way, so you can't run it all the way down the field. And the offense, you know, scores points when we give them the ball, and it pushes the game away so that they're not able to run as much. And so, I mean, we'll take it. We'll take the statistics for sure.
We're all set. Thank you, Demario.
Thank you guys. Be blessed. Woo!
Go Stevie back here.
We go ahead and put questions in the chat for Brees. He should be up any minute. All right, we have Drew Brees here.
All right, we have Drew Brees. First questions from Rod Walker.
Hey, Drew, just sort of considering, you know, what was at stake and the competition, do you recall being a part of such a flawless performance like that on both sides of the ball where everything was clicking?
Yeah, I'd say those are rare, especially against as good a football team as the one we just played. As many weapons as they have on the offensive side of the ball, our defense just played phenomenal. Really contained them, bottled them up. The pass rush did a phenomenal job. I mean, really, it all starts there. I think on both sides of the ball. Our offensive line, I'd say the same thing. Just the way they control the line of scrimmage the entire game. You know, we played such a great complementary game, I think, offensively. Ran the ball very well against the #1 run defense in the league. We're able to find a lot of completions, a lot of first downs, kept moving the chains, scoring touchdowns when we got in the red zone. So, you know, all the way around, it was a really solid performance by the entire team.
Next question's from Doug Mouton.
Drew, that first touchdown, when you pump to Alvin and Traquan runs free, what is sort of your progression on that? What are you looking for that? And pre-game, did you think that was a play that they would be biting on Alvin and you'd find somebody running free?
Yeah, absolutely. So you see the replay, and we've got two guys going vertically, you know, Taysom and Traquan Smith. And so my eyes went to Taysom first and looked at, like, the safety grabbed him. I couldn't really see Traquan, couldn't really see the way the corner reacted. Just kind of had the rush in my face. So slid, moved, saw Traquan back of the end zone, let it fly. And it was funny because I got hit and I was going down, and Teron Armstead caught me, propped me up and said, I wanted you to see this touchdown. So it's funny how offensive linemen catch that stuff, you know, like they're blocking. And the minute that their guy sees that the ball's been thrown, you know, their guy usually turns around, and then immediately the offensive lineman's eyes go down the field. So it was funny that he caught me, propped me up, and said, just wanted you to see this touchdown.
Is that the advantage of what Alvin has done through the first half of this season, that teams are going to overplay Alvin like that? You can use.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Alvin's a weapon. They know that we throw screens to him. And so obviously that becomes kind of a big piece of cheese that you put out there sometimes.
Next question's from Mike Triplett.
Drew, it's hard to believe it was just 3 days ago that we didn't see you practicing on Thursday. First of all, did was that a new shoulder injury that occurred during the Bears game, or something you've been dealing with?
Just something I've been dealing with.
And I mean, was there any doubt about this game, or it was just a maintenance thing that you wanted to?
No, there was no doubt, just maintenance.
And this is a few performances now where you've been on the injury list midweek, and then you just come out lights out. I mean, is there something about sort of channeling that in any way, or getting you to focus in even more, or coincidence?
I would just say that sometimes the recovery is as or more important as the preparation itself.
Next question's from Jarrett Bell. All right, we'll follow up with next questions from Brooke Kirchhoffer.
Hey, Drew, what was it like having Michael Thomas back and really just everyone on offense healthy for this game?
Listen, it was great. It's great to have everybody back there. I know Mike was excited. I know Emmanuel Sanders was excited. I think, honestly, my biggest thing coming to the game was just to keep those guys just calm, and slowly kind of bring them back into it, and not make it to where it's one of these where all of a sudden expectations are at a certain level and, they're each playing 60 snaps and it's just, too much. So I think, man, the balance of how much those guys played, their production, just kind of getting re-indoctrinated back into it, I thought was perfect.
And if I can follow up to that, just the offense as a whole, you're really just able to spread the wealth as far as just the amount of talent you guys have on offense. How big is that at this point in the season?
Well, it's great, but you got to execute. So it's when we're calling plays, when we're thinking about personnel groups, when we're thinking about matchups, it's about putting our guys in the best position to succeed. It's about creating tempo, creating rhythm, playing complementary football, spreading the ball around. And I think today was just a great example of all that.
Last questions from Doug Mouton.
From a play calling rhythm standpoint, was this as good as it's been in a while? It seems like they were off balance every play.
Yeah, I think we played with great tempo. I thought that, Taysom Hill was a huge contributor today. That's probably the most carries he's had in the game. And then, throwing a couple key passes. The run game and pass game, and now you throw in a weapon like Taysom Hill who can run or pass, and it just pick your poison. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Drew.
Okay, that was quarterback Drew Brees following the Saints' 38-3 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to show you some locker room footage of the, had my volume on full loud here. We're going to show you some locker room video of the players dancing in the locker room. You had Sean Payton dancing, you had Jameis Winston dancing, that we're going to show you here to get you a little inside access inside the locker room. Of course, we'll hopefully have videos on social media later today. I would strongly encourage you to follow all the Saints players on social media, and especially Instagram, and see their Instagram stories of that celebration. JD, I guess we'll watch those videos later, but this Tampa run defense is something that you talked about earlier in this week, averaging 70 yards. And here we have the dance videos. You see Jameis Winston eating W's in the locker room and doing some kind of dance. I'm not sure what that is, but hey, it's better dance moves than I could give you, or JD could give you. You're seeing CJ Gardner-Johnson's live video from inside the locker room celebrating the win. And JD, let's go ahead and talk while fans enjoy these videos. Tampa run defense averaging 70 yards per game, and the Saints had 138 rushing yards in tonight's game.
Well, the dancing speaks for yourself. But yeah, if you're going to be a good team, you've got to be balanced. And I thought the Saints were extremely balanced in this one. They were able to run the ball, and you mentioned 138 yards. That turns out to be huge against a team that only gives up 70 a game. And the Saints only had 84 against them in the previous game. So that turns out to be huge.
As we said, Saints sweep the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, win tonight 38-3. JD, any final thoughts before we let you get home?
Well, if you're the Saints, bask in this one. Feel good about it. Cam Jordan always talks about the 24-hour rule, so celebrate it for those 24 hours and get back to work, because the last thing you want to do is to take all of this prosperity from this game and have it follow you throughout the week and not properly concentrate for the next game. So got to get your concentration back, but certainly they ought to fly high off of this one, because they earned it. It was a well-earned, dominating, thorough victory.
All right, JD, get home safely. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for our New Orleans Saints post-game show presented by Mercedes-Benz. If you didn't get a chance to catch this amazing Saints win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we'll leave you with some highlights. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks, Lane.
Touchdown, Traquan Smith in the end zone. They left him alone.
Brees' category, and they're back tied again.
Right. Brees deep in the pocket, throws wide open over the middle. Catch made midfield. Breaking tackles is Harris, and the speedy one takes it inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. 2nd and 7. Hill a wide out. Brees fires over the middle. That's caught. And fighting his way toward the goal line. The ball comes out at the end is Jared Cook. The ball is out and Tampa Bay has it. Raymond James Stadium, site of the Super Bowl in February. Ball at the 35-yard line. They start this drive. Big hole for Kamara. Hill takes it and still turns it into a first down, and a lot more down the sideline goes Adam Troutman. It's all yours. 2nd and goal. Catch is made. Josh Hill for the touchdown.